Hello, everybody. Welcome back to There's a First Time for Everything with yours truly, Bill Blank. For those of you listening for the first time, this is a podcast themed around first time events. I bring one of my friends on, one of my comic friends, and they will tell a story about their first time doing something, whether it's their first date, their first kiss, first fight, you name it. They will have that story and we will dive in. It'll be interesting and it'll be fun. My guest today, good friend of mine, and it's funny. I just realized I think we're on episode 9 or 10 at this point. And I've been seeing a lot with the new year. I've seen a lot of people talk about things like being grateful for what you have, and no matter what's going on, concentrate on the things that you're grateful for, the things that make you happy. And I realize, every time I have a guest on this show, I'm always like, hey, this is one of my good friends. Please, everybody, welcome my good friend and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I just realized, I could introduce every single person that I've had on this podcast as one of my best friends in this business. And here we are in episode 10. And I still have more guests to bring on. And it's like, wow, I'm actually really fucking blessed to have people, this many people I can consider my good friends. And they will come on here with me and, bullshit for a while. It's kind of like listening to a couple comics in the green room or on a phone call. And I'm really happy that I can do something like this and I can bring on all these people that are near and dear to me for many different reasons, but most of all, just that brotherhood and or sisterhood that we share being comics, just the DNA makeup of that whole thing. My guest today, I met him. He was one of the Kansas City comics. I've always said that the Kansas City guys always bring it. It's a great city for comedy. There are so many comics out of Kansas City that just bring the pain. They're all just great. And the first time I met this guy, I was opening for Daniel Tosh at the Kansas City Improv, who didn't do Sunday. So they brought in another headliner for Sunday, and just so happened to be my guest today. And we had another gig that Gary Minky booked, which I'm you know what, I got to get Minky on here. There's just, his name has become a fucking a label in this business. He's just Minky's a character in his own right. But he booked this casino thing, and I did that with Justin before, like in the middle of the day, and then we went to the Improv, did the show. And we just hit it off. We got along really well right away. And I remember going down and opening for Cheryl Underwood a couple years later, and Justin shows up in the green room just to see me. And we've always just ran into each other on the road and stuff. So everybody, please welcome my good friend, Justin Leon.
What's happening, fellas?
Oh, there he is.
What it do?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. That was awfully emotionally nice and sweet of things for you to say.
Yeah, you tearing up a little bit?
A little bit, just a little. Minker is a word that is synonymous with a time.
You got minkered.
That's at one point. That's when you knew that you were officially a comic. It's when you first time you get paid and the first time you got minkered. That's how you knew that you were road working.
I was lucky because I never got minkered. The other guy was the one that got minkered.
Yeah. Good for you.
So I never got mad at him.
Right. Oh, I got mad at him so many times. He got mad at me. He put me in the comedy desert a couple of times. That was his go-to, put you in the comedy desert. I messaged Minky recently and kind of cleared the air on a thing or two, and I'm all good. It's the growth. We're like you were talking about before. You got to find the best and don't carry some shit with you. And Minker was one of the motherfuckers. I had some shit that I had carried with me. I carried that shit with me. And so I chose to let that go.
Well, he was around Kansas City a lot there for a while. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what his. I mean, I think that his kind of I know that he had kind of some skin in one of the club. I think the Orlando club or something. Maybe a couple other ones, and maybe that gave him the juice to just call and get guys on. Like I don't know, but he seemed to have some pull in Kansas City for a while.
He had some pull in a bunch of the rooms, but you know, he was going through some shit too. Everybody's got baggage that makes them who they are and how they are.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we got to do better at seeing that and understanding that and expecting that we're dealing with humans, and that's everybody's got their shit, man. That's why people are who they are. I get mad, man. I carry shit, and I forget sometimes. I can't do that. These are just people being people, and it's unfair. And you know,
well, there's those moments. I remember you and I having a conversation one time outside of the Funny Bone here in Des Moines.
Okay, yeah.
And I was sitting on the bench.
I miss that room so much. What a wonderful room, staff, family.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're my family for sure, and I
love them.
You don't believe how much I miss them right now. That club functioning at a normal level would be so good for me right now. in the state of the world and everything.
We all need the stage
steadily,
so desperately for at this time. I find it in myself because I haven't been back out. I haven't
at all.
No, I did a couple things here at a club, the Laughing Tap in Milwaukee. Great new club, just opened up a year ago today, matter of fact. Great new club, great ownership. And I did a couple of things for them early on, maybe March, April. But then I haven't. And then one outdoor thing, but I haven't been on stage. And that shit bottles up for us in the mental.
Well, and that's kind of what bugs me about either the people around us or just people that are kind of outside. Like I addressed it in my intro, just how we kind of have that DNA,
right?
People on the outside looking in think that that we're just these ego driven people, and this is like fucked up our ego. And it's so far from that. Like
it's for me, I know that some people it is that, but they're getting fed. If it's just an ego thing, if you just need your ego fed, you can get your ego fed here.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah.
You can't feed that beast like you can in front of an audience in a club working stuff out. That's a completely different. I haven't done any Zoom shows. It just doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't feed it.
That's why I haven't done anything virtual. I've done when Omaha opened back up for like they were able to have like 3/4 capacity for a minute and they cut them back down. But when Omaha opened back up, I was able to do a week there with our friend Chris Porter.
Oh yeah, how was CP?
Oh, he was great.
Yeah,
he was. He's one of these dudes that he's younger than me, but he talks to me like he's my fucking Yoda.
he's got.
You know what I mean? He's just he's sure about whatever the fuck his opinion is. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So you're sitting there and you're talking, and I'm like, hey, I want to don't do that yet. Do this. Do that. You know? Yeah, but Chris, well, there's this is what you need to do. Don't. Oh, okay.
Get it. Thank you.
I mean, he's probably right. The thing is, he's probably right.
He's got more experience than anybody I know personally. He's got more. His writing is amazing. His
he turns out a new hour constantly.
He's a proficient writer. I'm proud of him. He's amazing.
He's an amazing human too. He's a great dude.
Yeah. Drugs make your mind real smooth. If you do enough drugs, it'll make you just the most beautiful of who you are.
If you do the right ones.
Of course. That's what I'm, oh, yeah. Right. I said drugs. I didn't really mean drugs. I meant, yeah.
No, you said enough drugs, and I'm like, enough of the right ones.
Right.
Because, you know, there's other things that can happen if you do enough of, you know,
the wrong ones.
The wrong ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that make guys like us blow our fucking heads off eventually.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to do those.
Yeah, that has ended many a story, hasn't it?
Dude, you know, everything I've been through in the last year, you have those moments in your life where all of a sudden you understand how somebody that has it all can just say fuck it. Like Robin Williams, for example. You know, like you see these guys that have gotten rich and famous and quote unquote made it, you know, by societal standards and whatever else. And you see them take their own lives and you're like, well, how the fuck does that happen? But I think as comics, we kind of get how that can actually be the moment where you can't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because you thought whatever level of making it would make you feel better, and it didn't. So now you're like, okay, now what? Like I've got everything, and it didn't help. So what am I going to do now?
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But people get there in so many different aspects. Life can take you there. You know, I've been there, you know what I mean? And not just from comic stuff, because that ain't it, just family, loss.
Oh, yeah.
Divorce, death, all that stuff. There's been moments of fuck all this noise. I get why somebody can do it.
Definitely.
But I wasn't. And Robin Williams had some more issues going on. He had some brain issues going on that were devastating his mind. And
oh yeah, he was kind of in the early stages of dementia or something, wasn't he?
It's not quite that. There's a new documentary out on Amazon about it. His wife put out that was. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard reviews on it. It's really powerful. It talks about what it was that was the disease he had that was messing with his mind. But yeah, I mean, we've been programmed into believing what's supposed to make you happy and what's supposed to make you. We've all fall victim to it, and
yeah, you think if I can just get to this thing, I'll be good, and then you get there, it's not enough.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember very early in my career, I was working with Reno Collier this was at the old Funny Bone. And I remember saying to him at that time, because I was probably 5-6 years in at that point, and I was featuring all the one-nighters. I was working for the Yoders and the Mullers and the Doug and Danas, and you know, I'm featuring for $100 on all these gigs. And I remember saying to him, like, if I could just get to the point where I'm headlining all my one-nighters and I'm featuring all the clubs, I'll be good. Like, and he was like, oh, that's not going to be enough. He was like, it won't be, when you get there, it won't be enough.
No.
And I've been there for probably 10 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even doing the split, like, I remember you and I co-headlined, I think it was Toledo for a week, like a Thanksgiving week or something.
I remember that.
Yeah, we had a fucking blast. It was so fun. In fact, now you know what? In fact, I remember that because we had a very in-depth discussion.
I have lots of in-depth discussions, especially because we were probably smoking weed, and so
I won't say that we were doing anything other than talking to each other.
Oh, okay, all right,
but
yeah, okay.
No, yeah. Well, I think you had your pen at that time.
Okay.
So we were in the green room with the pen.
Yeah.
But no, we had this really in-depth discussion about what white privilege is.
Mm. Wow. This was years ago too, right?
Yes, it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Because
what was going on in the news at that time? What were we discussing?
I don't remember exactly why. Well, I remember why it came up in the room, and it was because there was a comic that came to do a guest set, a white dude that knew you, and you knew him. Like, you guys acted like you were friends.
Okay.
And then at some point, y'all started shadow boxing, like after the late show, out like by the bar.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. And he's another situation where I had to
You had to make amends. Have you been going to AA?
No. I still like to get fucked up. I can't remember the kid's name right off the top of my head, but I had seen him we hung out a few times. Really smart, funny, and I'll think of his name. Funny.
I think I'm Facebook friends with him now. Does he do like raps on Facebook? Like he raps in his car or some shit?
Does he? I haven't.
Oh yeah, he's like freestyling. See, and that's where the problem lies, kind of. I could tell. I was observing the situation, and I could tell. You and I were in agreement.
Do you remember that night?
I remember every fucking second of it.
Okay. Well, tell me what you remember, because this is great, because this is one of those situations where I'm trying to see if I was wrong. I can be self-reflective, and I'm one of those people that I want to be the best me I can be. So I know if I fuck up, but I need to see that I fucked up. So this would be great. So what do you remember of that night? What was that name?
Well, obviously. So obviously, when y'all started shadow boxing, like, you know, that was just a thing. Like I remember doing that shit in high school, whatever. I don't know why y'all started shadow boxing. That's what I saw first. And then at one point, he started coming a little harder. Like he started. I remember him saying to you, because
were we outside of the showroom? We were right by the table over there, or was this in the showroom after the show?
It was out at the bar.
Okay.
Outside the showroom.
Okay.
Me and you and I ended up. You and I ended up in the showroom talking.
Right. I remember this.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Jared Dog gets mad when I don't mute my mic when I'm pouring myself drinks or hitting my vape and shit. But you asked me to tell this story and I'm in the middle of it and I feel like I can't mute my mic. So I hope people listen to my ice and shit isn't too distracting.
It doesn't bother me, but if it's gonna piss Jared Dog, I was gonna piss him off whether you mention it or not. You're in trouble.
You're right about that. We actually discussed this earlier about introducing things you're gonna say anyway. I just kind of did that again. But anyway, so you and this kid are shadow boxing. He feels like he felt like you got too aggressive. So he got a little more aggressive. And at that point, you're like, dude, fucking okay. Like, chill. And he was defending his actions. You said to him, I remember you saying to him, that's your privilege right there, is thinking that you could actually just get more aggressive in that situation. And I understood it because what this dude didn't like put together in that moment, I don't think, is you are a good 5 inches taller than him, outweigh him by probably 60, 70 pounds.
Well, let's don't go crazy. I've been on keto, man. I've lost a few pounds.
Well,
I hear you. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Saying this is a little fucking scrawny dude is my point.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And I understood right away what you meant when you said that, because it's if that were happening like out in the streets when no one's watching, he wouldn't have got that aggressive. Like he felt safe. He felt safe getting more aggressive. And the bottom line is, if that shit was real, if that was reality, you would have killed him. Like killed him.
Okay. All right. So this is what
but he felt safe, you know.
Okay, I remember it differently. So I remember we were shooting the shit after the show. I get sometimes when I talk, because of my stepfather and my genetics, I get loud. My pops was loud in the house. When he told a story, he told it loud and animated, and it was characters and motherfucker, and I have all that.
This lends itself to what I was about to say about our conversation in front of the funny bone, but keep going. Just
and so if I feel comfortable with somebody, everybody don't get to see all sides of me, but if I feel comfortable with somebody, then I'll let that loose. Sometimes I'll let that part of me out and put on that. And for him, me being loud and animated as I was
threatening.
Mm-hmm. Now I won't say his name, even though it's not just because I can't remember it, but it's also because I'm telling business and I don't want to put him out like that.
Yeah, it's not.
He wasn't no punk. That he's an MMA fighter. That was in his background, and he's also.
He thinks he can handle himself.
Yeah.
Or knows he can.
Yeah.
So he's saying, "Hey, if this is real."
And so, but what bothered me was he was like, "Hey, I've had people do that before, and it ends my relationships with them because I'm like, oh, I let you too close. You got to see.
Oh, they're like, settle down. They want you to settle down. You're being passionate.
You're awfully a lot of that right now." And I was like, okay. And so what I was saying was, and I can't remember what I mentioned privilege about. I know what you said, but that doesn't ring a bell on what it was. That it was just his privilege, but I think it was more of him being able to
tell you to calm down.
Yeah, or if the situation was reversed, this whole package, and I know it's not just black, it's the privilege of being smaller and walking in a room and not being seen. I haven't been able to walk in many places and not being noticed for a very long time, and not because I'm just talking about just
you're a big dude.
That's a big black dude, and so in the comedy world especially, and so he felt a certain way, and he had the ability to do that, and but I think about him on occasion. I haven't reached out to him, and maybe I will. Maybe I'm just gonna cleanse. Man, I don't want to do this. That's.
I really don't think you should have.
We do all this cleansing. Everybody.
Well, I think you and I have this same issue, amongst people in general, where our passion can be mistaken for rage, because we will start talking very passionately about something, and you're taller than me, you're bigger than me, but I'm not small.
Right.
And I have the look of someone that might kill you when I get angry or passionate.
Right.
And the difference between anger and passion on my face is zero. It looks the exact same.
Right. No one will be surprised if you do anything wrong. Your neighbors, Your neighbors won't be going, I never would have. No, they like, knew that was going to happen.
Well, I look at it like basketball, for example. Basketball is the perfect example of this.
Okay.
Some dude dribbles down the lane and dunks on somebody's head, right?
Okay. Right.
And what do his teammates do? Shove him, get in his fucking face like that.
Yeah.
Like someone that doesn't know what's going on right there's like, oh my God, they're gonna fight. There's like
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's
Context.
and that's what I was saying about the conversation you and I were having outside the club that night. I distinctly remember this because I remember thinking, because I was sitting on the bench and you were standing up and you were facing me, so your back's to like the parking lot, and you know, people are driving by, walking to their cars and all this stuff, and you were literally talking to me about I think you were talking about it was the day you came to my house. You came to my house to watch football that day.
Where's that big ass dog?
He's upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I got a good picture of you with his big ass head. So it was that day, and you were talking about. All I remember is you were like, Ben, and you were like, I came into your home. You were like really passionate about it, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, this dude's like showing me so much love right now, but somebody out there in that parking lot thinks he's.
I remember that.
Like,
looks like that brother's about to kill that white boy. Or that brother.
Exactly.
I don't know what he said to him, but he mad at him.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like that's what those moments are like.
Yeah.
But the reason it sticks out so much for me is because I was on my way home that week. I was getting ready to do this storytellers event thing that was like a kind of an NPR style deal that the newspaper put on here. And my story was about my first fight in elementary school. And because I went to a magnet school, and so they bust white kids into this school that was what you would call the projects in a big city. In Des Moines, it was more like just, you know, low income housing, basically kind of government housing a little bit, whatever. And those kids went to my school too.
Okay.
But they had this it was a magnet school. They had a big talented and gifted program and stuff.
Yeah, I went to a magnet high school, and we had a few of y'all bust into ours too. So.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So, but this was elementary school.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I ended up getting bused to that school because of my sister. My sister, like, could read since she was 3. Like, they were like, the principal from the school we were going to had just got hired to be the principal at that school. So she was like, bring my sister, which meant I was in the package.
Right. He can come too.
Yeah. So my first couple days of first grade, I'm trying to get in a fight, and like she's doing whatever. So I end up fighting this little black kid because I just walked up to people like, who wants to fight? I was trying to knock out the biggest guy in the yard or whatever.
Why'd you go into it with this attitude?
I don't know, man.
Where did the come from? Where you
have no fucking
go ahead and taking names. Who told you that's how you take over first grade?
No fucking idea, dude. I felt like I had to show everybody how tough I was right away.
You needed to be hugged more, Bill.
Something.
Yeah.
So I walked up to this group of kids, and the only kid that didn't run away was this little black kid that was like a foot short. I mean, he was this little kid, and he was like, I'll fight you, whatever. And I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know, like, all I ever did was get in fights with my sister and like wrestle around with my friends or whatever. So I'm thinking like we would like shove each other.
You went into this unprepared.
Oh, totally. I thought like we'd shove each other. There'd be a headlock or something. This motherfucker was just like,
nice.
And I just done crying. And of course he got in trouble, despite the fact I deserved it. He was a kid from the hood, and I was a bust in kid and all that. And so 30 years later, I looked back on that and realized all the ripple effects and dynamics of that situation that probably occurred for him, where for me, it was just a thing. And then it turned into this whole story I told. Well, that night and the conversation we had after that night added a whole paragraph to that story that I wrote on my way home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was basically what it came down to is I was trying to explain to people that white privilege isn't about like economic status or just being handed all this stuff. Like some of that's true, but it's ripple effects. What it really is about is getting the benefit of the doubt all the time.
It's for people who still don't want to understand it. And there are a group of people that just refuse to want to just, if you can't step in someone else's shoes, if you can't empathize, you're never going to get this because it doesn't seem logical. But to not have to think about your race, to not have to have that be, that's part of the privilege, the opportunity. Yeah. That varies throughout white folks. I mean, it's not, everybody's not just handed. That's not what this is about. This is about how you're able to live your life as a human being
daily, just being comfortable in your own skin on that one level. Now there's plenty of people that aren't comfortable in their own skin because of their physical appearance or whatever, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about shit. We're talking about pigments.
For that to be there's so much more for us to fight about that we would fight about anyway. If we were all the same color, if it was all, we figure out a different way to make groups, but for this particular, it's just a freedom, and that's what privilege is. It's a privilege to not think about it, and it showed itself storming the Capitol. It showed itself on every level. And there's some people that just won't be able to get that because they've chosen a side. They've made a choice. There's still those that are going to dig in more. Now they want to impeach this motherfucker and they're going to dig in more. He's got 2 weeks left. If y'all wanted to get rid of him, you should have been done it. That January 6th shouldn't have been the final straw. Oh, and that's it. I can't ride with this guy anymore. But all the rest of this shit we've been screaming. Why y'all wait to the end of this to do this? I get it. Appreciate it. I know you're doing it to keep your job and keep votes and do shit. And I know you're hustling, and that's fine. But fuck, y'all waited till now. Now we got to deal with this.
Well, and you know why they waited because they thought the path to keeping the Senate and to regaining the House was to back him. And then they find out differently. That didn't work. So now they're going, oh,
we're out here.
Shit. How are we going to get votes next time?
It's such an interesting time, man. And and that's on the bigger picture. And we haven't even touched on COVID and other things and the world, the global warm up. Whatever. You have to focus on yours. I get it. And that's the thing. I'm not asking
you do both though.
I'm not asking anybody to change their views or even I can see why people think the way they think. Other than the dude with the war paint and the horns, I can see why how these people get turned their thoughts. I know because I know how you grew up. I know who your friends are. I know which opportunities you had. I know where you've had failings. I know where things hurt and where pain and how you haven't figured out how to fix your shit neither. So it manifested itself in this. And actually, that motherfucker that's sitting in that chair and holding that trophy, he's doing it for some daddy issues we have no fucking clue about. Something happened to him when he was little. Now he's wanting to be out here. It's so much for all of that shit. And you know, you just gotta whatever.
Well, you're right though. You're right to focus in that direction, because that's the direction that'll keep you from just being constantly angry. I mean, I can't imagine what happens when you get tired. You know, like I'm sure that you're tired, and you've been tired for a while, and you've obviously chosen, you know, at the point where you're tired, you chose to recognize the fact that there's all these other issues, that it's way more nuanced than that. It's so, so you can maybe you can have some understanding. Empathy has to work in two directions. It can't only work in one.
Right.
And you're showing empathy with that attitude.
Right. And that's why it makes it difficult when it doesn't return. Then I'm like, fuck you then.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about you ever again. Go fuck yourself. And everybody in your house can go fuck themselves. And your dumbass opinions and your backwater thoughts. Fuck you, you dumb shit. That monster comes out, and the empathy guy's like, hey, I thought we were gonna everybody's different, just remember they grew up different. You're nope, fuck 'em.
All of a sudden I just realized how much bigger you are than me. Would you back off a bit? Could you?
You're invading my space, man. I feel threatened. Oh, stop it. Yeah, that's what that was.
No, that's what I mean. I remember there was you put up a picture with your family, and y'all had the t-shirts on. That was, I'm not a threat, my dad's not a threat, my husband's not a threat. I thought that was extremely poignant, like because I look at a guy like you that I've been friends with for so long, who's like soul that I know, and for anyone to look at you as a threat is like just beyond my comprehension.
It's right.
It's the same lesson though that I had to learn in my own right. Like, everybody doesn't know you, and you just forget that sometimes as a human. You just forget that everybody you're running across doesn't know you.
See, so that's I don't have to remind myself that they don't know me.
Exactly.
Show it in their eyes. There's no reminder needed.
Yep.
That everybody don't know your intentions. And you know, it's interesting with mask on now. I'm trying to figure out how to sell my eyes with kindness, and I haven't figured out how to do it quite yet. There's something that because
you're mad about wearing the mask.
I don't give a fuck about that mask. Don't bother me enough. I kind of like it. I've always said
it's warmer right now.
Perfect for wintertime. But I've always said that if I could pick something like in another life, I don't really want to do it. I might want to do it one time, but I'd love to be a mascot in a big fucking mascot suit, and nobody know who's in there. You can just do whatever you want to do. Is stupid and crazy. That whole idea to me has always been appealing. And so the mask gives me a little bit. There's a little anonymity where I can, you know, it's nice to not have to be charming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's actually something I was thinking of as we were talking. Was, you know, you shouldn't have to go out of your way to be a more to appear to be a more welcoming person.
I should be able.
Look on your surface or whatever. Like,
I should be able to walk around with the same stank face on that you wear, and nobody
thinks anything of it.
Thinks it's threatening.
Although I do have to admit, I did go to. I went to my first Democratic caucus this last time around.
Yeah.
I've been to the Republican one, and I've only been to the Republican one once, and that's because I was working for Ron Paul, and like I was trying to like, you know, get rid of politicians, basically.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, you know, worked really well. He did win my precinct though, in a landslide, because I was the precinct captain. I got like 15 Democrats to register Republican for one day to caucus for Ron Paul, because I was like, Obama's in.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, if you had to pick, like, let's just stack the deck, like, pick Ron Paul, right? If you had to pick a Republican, so why not? Right. You don't have to caucus, fucking. And so I pulled it off, like, kicked ass, but it didn't matter, obviously. So this time, I went to the Democratic caucus because I wanted to try to get Andrew Yang. And so I went and I caucused for Andrew Yang. Well, the Republican caucus is like a silent vote. You just write on a piece of paper and put it in a thing, and they count them out, and it's done. It takes like 45 minutes. Like each candidate has one person that speaks for them to everyone. Nobody says shit. They listen, and then people write their fucking name down.
Okay.
Well, the Democrat caucus, those motherfuckers hold you hostage, bro. Like, you're in a gymnasium and you physically have to go stand under the fucking name. And then they go, well, this one's not viable. This one's not viable. So then you're supposed to go to another name. So you go to that name. And so the top 3 viable candidates in the end are the ones that win.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that shit could take all fucking night.
Yeah. Wow.
So
how long were you there?
Andrew Yang wasn't viable.
Obviously.
So at that point, what happens is people start walking around and trying to convince you to come to their side.
Because you're either gonna walk off or
so like they walk over. Like if you caucus for a non-viable candidate, you're supposed to stay put, and then people come to you and try to convince you to go to their person. Until
how desperate do they get? What's going on? Are there hand jobs?
I didn't get that far because I put a look on my face that was like, don't even fucking bother talking.
Nobody came up and spoke.
Nobody. Nobody.
They didn't watch your vote. They're like, man, I'm not you. You can stay.
Not even fucking close. And so I went up to the lady and I was like, look, I don't want to switch. I want my shit to get counted for Yang and I want to leave. She's like, you can't. You're not even supposed to fill that thing out yet. Took it from. I'm like, well, then fucking tear it up and give me another one. Who gives a shit? And they wouldn't do all that. There's now you already wrote on it. Like, bitch, just pretend you didn't see it. Like, who fucking cares? And so I left. They had tables blocking the door. I had to move tables out of the way to walk out the door.
You're the problem with the voting process. I see. You're the one causing all the ruckus. That's all on you, Bill Blank.
Maybe it is. I'm just not willing to be held hostage.
Was it hostage? Did they have you blindfolded?
At gunpoint
behind your back?
Well, they put tables in front of the doors, Justin.
And you move the goddamn tables, Bill. You're not a hostage if you could just move the tables and walk out. That's not a hostage situation. All you had to do was do a little bit of work. That's how you got out of it? Okay. You're a hero.
Yeah, but they were trying to get, they were trying to give the illusion. They're trying to tell you can't leave.
You weren't fooled by the illusion.
I wasn't having it. No. I'm a goddamn man.
Oh shit.
All right, so now that we've delved into all that stuff, what's your first time story? Wait, no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Nothing of importance. Nothing really.
Are you sure? Because we're good. We can talk about whatever you want.
No, I was gonna say what was you can are you gonna, I know this is on the live. How long do you usually go on your
about an hour?
About an hour. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes a little more.
And so are you gonna chop this up
No, not this. No.
Not for
I
the
will.
for the YouTube, but for the
When I download the audio and put it on iTunes, it just depends. I
Okay.
mean, if there ends up being something I want to take out, honestly, I probably won't remove anything because I'm too lazy.
I
But
got you.
you know,
In the midst of starting a podcast, like everybody else,
yeah.
and so I'm just asking some technical questions. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, what you can do, what we do is we live stream. The StreamYard is the format we use. It live streams to YouTube. I have an app that takes a YouTube video and makes it audio, makes it an MP3.
Gotcha.
And then I upload that MP3 into Audacity, which is the thing that I use to edit and everything.
Yeah.
Some people use GarageBand. There's all those.
Right.
So I use Audacity. I upload it to Audacity, and then I add intro, outro, and edit if I want to edit. But I generally don't really edit our conversations or anything. I don't recall ever cutting anything out.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, I've admitted to some things that I probably should have cut out, but at this point, I just figure nobody gives a shit.
Right.
So.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to be famous for someone to want to cancel me.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I have said some off shit recently. The other day, this is what. Oh, I'm so glad to say this at live. That's been my issue, man. So I was off of Facebook for a minute at the end of last year. I just kind of, I had to go away. I knew it was going to get bad for the pandemic. I knew it was going to get bad for politics. I've already lost a couple of dear friends over all this shit. It breaks my heart, but I've lost people as relationships, and I had Instagrammed. I was Instagram man.
Like real, like close friends, like real, like good friends you lost over this.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Yes, man. It is. And
it's like we don't even have the same. It's like, yeah, we can disagree. We can disagree about like how people should spend their money and how the government should spend our taxes and shit like that. But are we really disagreeing about racism right now?
And for me,
I'm assuming that's what it is, right?
And for me, if you can't hear me when it comes, if a white friend of mine can't listen to me over black issues, if you can't hear my point, if you're my friend and you can't hear my point of view, then you're not my friend, because you don't know me well enough to know what that feels like to me. I thought I've built more equity in this relationship for you to just take my fucking word on this one. This one. And if my wife tells you something that's about women that you can't possibly fathom what they go through, then just take it. Even if you disagree, even if you don't get it, just go, I take your word for that. I see where you're coming from, but I see it like this. I'm not dismissing you, your ideas, who you are as a human. I'm not dismissing that. I can work with that. That's something I can work with. But you bring me bullshit and you're dismissive. Oh, you can't possibly think that kind of shit. Oh, you just take my word on this one. And so I left, like I said, Facebook, and I was on Instagram, and and COVID, and we just had this baby boy. So I got plenty of like bait, boy. I am trolling these bitches. Let me put this fat baby's picture up here on this Instagram and get me a couple hundred real fast like feed. Yeah. And then I was writing little posts on Instagram, staying away from Facebook, peeking at it every now and again. I didn't have the app, but I'd go to it in my browser and peek at it every now and again, but I wouldn't post anything. And then after the year was up, I was like, all right, I'll come back. Then January 6th came. I'm like, what? You fucking kidding me? Oh, shit, here it comes. Oh. And
all you did was let it fucking build up.
That's what it just exploded. I'm posting 10 times a day on fucking Facebook. What are you doing, old man? Get the fuck out of here.
You're wasting your time.
And so and because he's all right, I'll say this. The other day when I heard that Dr. Dre had
oh yeah, the aneurysm.
Had an aneurysm.
He is all right.
He's doing much better. They say things gonna be fine and all that kind of stuff. And my first thought, it was first time in a long time I had a dark comedian thought that just
I did too. I did too right away. I almost want to go 1, 2, 3, go right now to see if we thought the same fucking thing.
I know we did because okay, 1, 2, 3. Niggas.
He had his head ringing.
That's a good one though. He had his head ringing.
I guess Dr. Dre's head was ringing. What was yours?
Niggas with aneurysms, NWA.
Well, I can't say that one. That's why. That's why it wasn't the name.
And it's funny because I tweeted that I was like, I thought of a joke, an NWA joke, but I'm not going to do it. And now you're thinking of it.
Dude, I was just thinking about. So I got a call from somebody to send in some stuff for a show. I'm not gonna give the details. I'll tell you later or whatever. But anyway,
porn is porn, right?
Yes. They want midget dicks on regular sized dudes. It's a new search.
You're gonna be a star, my friend.
For sure. I might not run deep, but I'll pound the shit out of the sides. That's my motto. But anyway,
I'll make you walk bow-legged the hard way. I'm just gonna pound the sides out of you.
I'm in it for the long haul. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
So anyway,
that's in some stuff.
I thought to myself, I should just fucking if in fact this is gonna happen, like I should just delete all my social media and start it over again. Because I'm terrified they'll go back and find something that I said in like 2008.
You pussy. Stand
up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because I remember, I don't know if you'll remember this or not. I remember it because you liked it. BT liked it. I think BT retweeted it.
Okay.
But anyway,
what was it?
It was like 2010-ish, 2008, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one tweet sticks out in my mind, and I don't know why. I think it was because I thought it was hilarious.
That's why. That's why.
I said it was around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And I said I think we should start calling the Wednesday before Thanksgiving White Wednesday, where everybody just goes to work.
That's funny.
And I remember you laughing at it and like liking it, and I remember, and so like, but that is a lesson like what we were talking about before. Not everybody knows you,
right? Oh,
so some network goes and does this fucking search,
man. Being famous don't really look fun. It really don't look fun.
So I was like, I should just delete it, even though that tweet fucking was harmless and my friends liked it. Everybody know, but
listen. I've been doing comedy over 20 years. So about 17 or 18 years ago, and actually when I first started, it was in the first couple of weeks, I used to do a poem about a fat girl. It was a love poem. Now, if this shit comes out, if I was somebody, if this shit, big girls everywhere would be mad at me. They were loving me when I did it, but it would be a fucking, how dare he body shape? But there's something I did. I haven't done it in 15 years. I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
But if somebody sees it, if it happened to come back or it doesn't matter how long ago. It's so interesting how people on both sides, if they have conversations about what they really want and what they don't want, there's a lot of crossover. And for me as a black person, and just me, the crossroad always intersects into race when it comes to just humanity, when it comes to the understanding of, I know a guy who was, I just wish, a white guy I know says, I just wish race didn't have to be an issue. Yeah, me too.
Thanks, buddy.
Me too.
Oh, are you tired of it? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you?
Yeah.
Are you tired of this shit?
Bet you it hurts to have to hear Black Lives Matter. How'd that fuck up your day? Did it fuck up your day because somebody said Black Lives? Did it fuck up your day because somebody said it? Or did you continue doing whatever it was you were going to do anyway?
I think that what it boils down to is everyone wants people to acknowledge their plight. And I think a lot of white people feel like when
y'all been plightless for so fucking long.
Yeah. I think white.
God damn it.
Yeah, white people are like, "Where's my privilege?
Oh, there's shit.
I grew up poor. I grew up with nothing. I had no privilege. Well, you did.
My bootstraps
and that's why. Yeah. That's why, like I said earlier, that's what I was trying to point out when it came to the benefit of the doubt thing, because it's like it doesn't matter, rich, poor, none of that shit. It's when you walk into a room, what do people assume about you?
Right.
Or do they even notice you're there? Like you don't get, that's your privilege right there.
So that is a huge part of it. That's a huge part of it. And you can storm the Capitol
and not get shot because nobody's threatened by you.
5 people. They didn't even bring. Everybody's talking about the Capitol Police and how, people should be fired for being understand. They knew that stuff was going to happen, this, that, and the other. But it just goes to show. They were like, what you mean? You mean them crazy people down there? All them white boys down there going to come? Listen, there's 10 of us.
Do shit. Why do you think, hey, you want to talk about reverse privilege in a situation? Why do you think that one black cop was just by himself? Like, nah, back up. Man, he wasn't scared of those white motherfuckers.
First time I saw that brother standing there,
he's like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Fuck you.
That's a man keeping his job during the pandemic. Fuck what you say. It ain't about them. I ain't giving up this check. They see me running. I'm fired. Y'all turn y'all asses around.
Yeah. I just got a bigger pension off y'all.
Oh, there's gonna be a GoFundMe in my name. Y'all back up.
Dude, my kids are going to college for free just because people like me.
Man, and that showed it, and for anybody, my brother and I was talking. My brother's hilarious. He's shy. He's the funniest one of my family, and but he was never gonna say it. But he drops stuff on me all the time, and sometimes I use it. And he was saying, what the fuck was he talking about? Oh fuck, I lost it. I smoked a little bit before I came in.
We're talking about the white dudes coming in, like the black cop not being scared.
Talking about privilege, the privilege of hold up, I tell you what. Let me hit this one more time.
Going off camera.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
You're good. So,
are you watching this game? I see you looking.
No, I'm looking at. I got a bunch of text messages. My son just got a new tattoo. What the fuck? What did you do that for? That's dumb. All right. I hope he doesn't watch this.
How old is your son?
18.
And what did he get? What tattoo did he get?
If this isn't, I'm pretty sure this is it, because I think this looks, it's the Des Moines Capitol building on his arm.
Okay.
He told me yesterday he was about to get half a sleeve and was all excited, and the whole half a sleeve is apparently the Capitol of Des Moines. So
how's it look?
Yeah. It looks good. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks all right. Like here, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's dope.
It's all right. Yeah. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't have a single tattoo on my body.
I was
So,
gonna ask you if you
I
had
don't even. I know I don't look like a dude that wouldn't, but
No.
I
You
don't.
look like you look like you have at least 2 or 3. You'd have little
A
nick
fucking
on your
at
arm.
least a prison tat. Yeah.
Right. Oh, one done poorly.
Just green. Fucking green and like a naked chick with a hairy ass bush. Just
bleeding all over the place. Yeah. I could see it.
I got this tattoo because I eats my spinach.
All right. I think
We got to get to your first time story.
Yeah. Because we're way past this. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and I wasn't for sure, but the one that I like is because it was prominent in my life forever and always. The first time I ever smoked weed, I was weed is such an interesting thing for me. It's my medicine. It's what grabbed me and helped me keep from killing people for many years now. And the first time I ever smoked weed,
you're such a big menacing figure.
Yeah, right. I'm threatening as fuck. And so I was a freshman in college. I graduated from high school a year early. My birthday's in September, so I was 17 when I graduated, and 17 when I started college for a month and a half. Then
That's how old you were when you smoked weed the first time?
Yes.
That's surprising.
And I'm
pretty old.
I know. But see, this was the thing. I was always an athlete in
yeah, they made you feel like you were failing if you did anything fun.
I just didn't want to take a chance for the longest time. And
I got high before every baseball game. I didn't give a fuck.
And I'm glad that I didn't start to when I did, because I appreciated it differently, and I used it differently throughout my life. And so I was 17. I had gotten a scholarship to an NAIA Division I school in Parkville, Missouri. It was Park College at the time. It's Park University now. And
yeah, because NAIA could give full rides.
Yeah. And I was I was on a partial. I wasn't on a full. I was it was crazy.
Like D3 NCAA, they can't.
Right.
You gotta pay your way.
Right.
So the NAIA difference is they can give you something.
Right. And so I was I'd found a way to get I had a double dorm room by myself. I had pushed 2 beds together in there, so I had like a queen size bed and in my whole place, and we was getting tore up the whole bed. So I had Kansas City's not that far from Parkville, 30 minutes, whatever. And one weekend, my favorite cousin Marlon, he's like my brother, and my boy Chuck, and somebody else who came up. I went and got my mom's minivan from the city and was going, because she was going to be out of town. And so I was taking it with me back up to the school, and we were rolling around and hanging out. And we were drinking St. Ides 40 ounces, getting, it was a Jamaican party. I can't hear you. Where'd you go?
I had my shit muted because I was vaping. The St. Ides, the Nate Dogg commercials.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, St. Ides.
We were getting fucked up, and so we were parked We had we had went to the party, hung out for a little bit on campus, and was drinking. And I'm driving Mom's minivan. Everybody's in the spot. A couple boys from the basketball team. We all packed into this van in Parkville, Missouri. Me, Barry, 5 of us packed in this minivan. And we parked and we get out, and I see a couple of them go in the back and spark up a joint. And I walked back there, and I was already a little tipsy. And I was like, you know what? Come on,
fuck it.
It's tonight's the night. See what all this noise is about. And it was like it was just this. Oh, okay. This is where y'all been. Oh, you motherfuckers! Y'all didn't tell me this is where you were. Everybody's over here. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. And so we got in the car, and you know how it gets with weed. You get hungry immediately, and there's this whole process that we were going back to the Jamaican. I can't remember. It had to be before. So back to the Jamaican party. I had ate something that I shouldn't have, and I was the fucking 40 was connected. The weed had me a little spinny. The food wasn't right. So the Jamaican party was at one of these halls, and it was right on top of this hill. And I remember I was with one of my partners because the lights are going, the dance floor is jumping. I'm sitting on the side, my face is feeling.
Now your head's just going like this.
And I tap my partner on his shoulder. I go, yo, man, show me to the dough. And the only reason I remember that is because that's what he's been saying to me for the past 30 years. That line, he brings it up all the time. Show me to the dough. So I'm stumbling towards the door, and I hit the side, and it's not like a death hill. It's a steep hill that you can walk down if the stairs go that way, but the hill goes this way. And I just went through the thing and just start running down this hill. And as I'm going down the hill, and I'm going fast,
try not to fall.
Falling was I let my legs do that because I was too busy concentrating on the vomit that was coming out of my mouth.
Oh, God.
All on my sweatshirt.
Running right into it.
I'm getting all of it on the way down. I get to the bottom of the hill. I make it. I don't fall. And I hear all of them up there because they're up there watching me go down. And everybody thinks I'm about to eat it. And I don't. I get to the bottom and I take my shirt off because I got all this puke on it. And I take my shirt off and I pick it up. And I'm at the bottom of the hill. I do like this. And they roar from up top. So now I'm hungry. Now we're hungry. And so we're gonna go find something to eat. It's Parkville, Missouri. It's 1:30 in the morning. There is nowhere
to
be going.
Maybe a gas station.
So we rolling in Mom's minivan. I'm driving because Marlon's in the front. I got 2 basketball players in the back seat and 2 more in the far back seat of the minivan, packed in this thing. And I'm sitting there driving, feeling good. And my cousin Marlon is in the passenger seat. He's the coolest dude in the world. He's so laid back. And he looks back. He goes, "Hey, cuz." I said, "What's up?" He said, "Police behind you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thought he was fucking with me." And he said, "No, man, for real, the cops behind you." And so I'm driving. I look up in the rear view, and there is one time behind me. And there's the boonies out there in Parkville, Missouri.
You're getting pulled over.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Depends on how fast.
And you're it.
And so I look up in the rearview mirror, and every time I look in the rearview mirror, my hands do like this.
Yeah.
And then when I look back down, it's straight up. So I see me driving straight. Look straight. Look straight. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He pulls me over. And flashlights on all my boys in the car, the whole bit. Gets me out of the car. He said, "No, first he goes, have you been drinking?" I said I had a beer over to school, whatever. I'm gonna need you to get out the car. So he gets me out of the car to do a sobriety check, and he turns his back to the van and has me doing walk the line, touch your nose. And as I'm doing this, over his shoulder, my boys, I can see them in the big minivan window in the back of the minivan, and they're all going, "You going to jail? You going to jail?" Oh,
They're like making fun of you.
yeah, they're fucking.
Oh my god!
Oh shit! And the cop goes, "What are you doing?" So we're gonna get something to eat. He said, just take y'all dumbasses back to the school. I said, "That's where I'm gonna go. You can follow me if you want to." He said, "I don't want to fucking follow you. Take your dumbasses back to the school." So we got back to the school. So that was the first time. That is a story of the first time.
And then you did it, and you did it again after that.
As often as I could for the 30 years almost.
What do you think would have happened if you would have went to jail? Do you think you would have never smoked weed again if you would have went to jail that night?
No, I would have smoked it the next morning when I got out of jail. I
right away. That was it.
I knew it. It was for me. It was without knowing it at the time. It was a medication for me. It's different for me. I know it. I'm different when and I'm not talking about a lot. I'm not that old. I'm not that dude from when me and Porter and Butch Lord were sitting on a couch smoking out of a big red couch bong, smoking out of a red couch bong called Clifford, the big red bong. I'm not that fucking guy anymore. And God bless those who are, whether you're Snoop Dogg and can continue on to smoke massive weed or
it's funny how that evolves, right?
Like, you're a youngster who you're in your 20s and you're going hard. You're
spending money on nice bongs and shit.
Dabs, man. I'm doing all of it. I've got all these. Okay, that's cool. You know what I need? I need one little tiny piece. It's gonna get and
just give me a one hitter. I'm good.
That'll manage me.
That's all I need.
And it keeps me a peaceful dude. It keeps me, and if that's all it is, and so
it becomes a thing where, you are obviously self-medicating.
Yeah.
But how often do we know exactly what it is we're self-medicating? Like what is it that we're numbing? What is it? Like I've had that same kind of struggle where I'm like, what is it that makes me do this? Like I don't go through my memory banks of shit and think to myself, I need to not think about this today, so I'm gonna chemically induce something.
Right.
Like there's none of that in there. So I've never understood what it actually was. I could never pinpoint exactly what it is I'm self-medicating.
With what?
With weed or anything or drinking, anything, what is it that I'm trying to shut off? Because I really don't feel like I'm trying to shut anything off.
Yeah, it does. That's not, I don't think shutting off is, I've been in the world of CBD here lately. And so there's a couple of things that I've found that in smoking CBD, different strands of that it touches on some of those same things that
anxiety or depression or whatever.
Yeah. And for me, because I don't have heavy any of that. I get this thing a little clearer than most. Sometimes I get out of it. I become human in mind and thoughts and get caught up in it. But I've figured out a way not to do that for the most part. And so it's just different. CBD has a way to block those pieces and not have the high the same way. But I still like the high too every now and again. It's just I don't think it's blocking anything from me as far as some trying
Yeah,
not
at some
to.
point, can you just say like, I just like getting stoned. It's
And
feels
sometimes,
good. I like it.
yeah, some people like having a beer. Some people like
Yeah.
cheap pizza. Some people like whatever fixes your. And that's the issue that where we're at. You can't just let people do them without unless what they're doing interferes, gets into
Mm-hmm.
my father, my stepdad. I don't even call him my stepdad. He's my dad. He he used to say something when I was a kid that just stuck in my head and stayed there. And it's so wrong. He said, I don't give a fuck what somebody else's religion is, as long as they keeps them from fucking with me. If a bean pie and a bow tie keep a nigga out my backyard, then assalamu alaikum, motherfucker. I don't. That's so wrong on so many different levels. But that's what he
Get your hand out my pocket.
he told me that when I was young. And that's how I feel on a bunch of stuff. As long as you don't, and that's where we can is it's so deep.
No, that's why I was working for Ron Paul back in the day, because that was that was kind of the he was running as a Republican, but in reality he's a libertarian, really, and that was the whole thing, was like, as long as you ain't hurting anybody, the government shouldn't be able to tell you what to do, like, period, point blank, and that's it. I did threaten to stop working for him, though, because he was running under the Republican ticket. At one point, he started going like all sorts of pro-life, and I called.
You called Ron?
Well, I called the campaign headquarters and talked to whoever, and I was like, I'm done. I was like, if he's going to keep, I was like, the whole reason I'm working for him is because he doesn't play these games, and if he's gonna all of a sudden be pro-life instead of the way he stands on everything else, like, if he's going to shift gears just to play the game, and that's what they said to me. They were like, oh, you know how it is, he's just trying to win the caucus. And I'm like, no, that's not why I'm working for him. I want him to be exactly who he is all the time. I don't want him to change his mind or his stance on anything, because the votes dictate one way or the other.
And what they say to you? Oh, he tricked you.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, well,
Part two. Oh, no, we got to do this part too, man. We're trying to do the thing that everybody else is doing to try to get in here. Yeah, it's all.
They just kept imploring on me how you got to play the game and make them, and I'm just like, no, man, I'm done with this. And I was, after the caucuses were over, I didn't do shit.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
What's the COVID like in Iowa right now?
They've started lifting things here and there. The restaurants and bars can stay open later now. They still have all the social distancing regulations, and people are supposed to wear masks indoors, but there's no like mandate for it. We've got a Republican governor who's a fucking idiot, so she's always just going, I trust Iowans to do the right thing. I don't think that I should have to tell them. Which is just her way to pander to the Republicans, and at the same time
try to wash your hands out. Hey,
I told you I'll wear a fucking mask, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think that's kind of what's going on everywhere. It just depends on if your governor's a Republican or Democrat at this point.
Right. It's the same thing out in these parts. It's
Does Wisconsin have a Republican governor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're seeing, I mean, you can just look at it. Look at the clubs. Look at who's working where.
Right.
And you can see, like, oh, you can pretty much pinpoint every single state that has a Republican governor has shows going on. And the
loony bins are open.
Yeah. The Florida improvs are open. Omaha's open. We're open if we can get the numbers. Like Michigan, nothing in Michigan's open. Nothing in New York is open. Nothing in LA is open.
I don't get it, man. I mean, I do get it, and it's gonna, and and I don't know what the answer is going to be. I'm confident enough in myself and smart enough to know that I don't know all the answers, and so I'm. It's going to be interesting to watch. All of this is unbelievable theater in this country right now. It is just, and lives are being lost. I see that, and lives are always going to get lost during history. This is our part of history that we're seeing. It's some incredible shit, man. It's some shit. Everybody's like, this is the craziest thing in the history of the world, and you could be right. That don't mean the shit ain't gonna get crazier years from now. That don't mean it doesn't get better and then get really worse and go back and forth. When people see greatness or things that are historical during their lifetime, that event, one or two things happen. Either they don't realize it's historical and it doesn't show
until later, yeah,
or they feel it and it feels like the biggest thing. It's there. Where were you when Kennedy was killed? Where were you when the
tower? And what did you do about it?
Where all of those things, those hit people. And this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be. It's an interesting ride. It's something to watch. I don't think this is the end of the United States of America.
No, of course not.
I don't think. Do I think these fucks want to be a civil war? Will there be?
There's a group that does, for sure.
I don't know.
They want. It's just not going to happen.
I just don't see. They fucked up and they went to their house. They went to these politicians' houses and fucked at their work. That's where Donald lost him, because he brought his side bitch to the house. He brought that tramp he fucking with and telling all them lies to the house. And here they came, and it's their job. And they're like, I can't believe it. His wife was like, I can't believe you have these motherfuckers coming up here while we working. You want to do it like this right now? We're going to jumping ship, because you fucking in their house. And I don't want them coming to my house. And so we'll see.
Assalamu alaikum, motherfucker.
So that's a callback. That's how you do that shit.
All right, man. We gotta wrap this up.
I still hear my daughter upstairs. I gotta.
You gotta go put your foot down. You gotta go read a book or something.
2 books, Daddy. Read 2 books for me.
Make one of, for my sake, make one of them hop on pop, so you got bruises tomorrow.
No, I'm too old for that shit, man.
All right, brother. I love you. You know how much I love you.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for coming on. And
edit some of this shit. I don't give a fuck.
No, I ain't gonna edit shit. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Don't make me look like this, man. Fix all that bullshit. Make it right.
Say something else.
I'm not gonna watch it anyway. You can do whatever you want to. So I don't give a shit what you do with it. I'm never gonna think about it. I can't remember shit. I won't be able to remember I did this a week.
Well, just make sure when I tag you, you share it. That's it.
Of course.
All right, brother. I love you, man.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Be safe.
All right. Peace.